I'm just gonna get the intro out of the way since when you click on a top 10 video, you want a top 10 video. 2024 was the year of surprising video games, I think. A couple smash hits that came right out of nowhere to critical acclaim. Massive studio-backed projects going under near instantly. Games you think would be good are bad. Games that you think were bad are good. It was a really surprising year. So let's do the YouTuber thing and count down my top 10 favorite games from last year. But wait! There's a couple honorable mentions I want to get out of the way first. Games that are really, really, really good, but just didn't make the cut. But I want to give them their time in the spotlight too. So if you don't care about honorable mentions, just want to get into the main 10, go to this time code right now, you damn fools. More boring disclaimer stuff. I'm only putting in games that I actually played this year. So sorry, Balatro gamers, there's no Balatro, there's no Astrobot, there's no Concord, but I still think I have a pretty wide array going on here. And also, I don't think this needs to be said, but shocker, people don't like to listen to these kinds of things. Spoilers for every game here. I'm going to be showing just footage willy fucking nilly, so if you care about spoilers for any game you see, skip it. But really, I just want this intro to be done. Let's get into the real meat of this video. Without further ado, here are the top 10 games of 2024. Starting with some honorable mentions. Half Sword. I'm kind of cheating on this one since Half Sword is only in the alpha beta testing stage right now, but I just had to mention this brilliant, stupid game because of its perfect hypnotic quality. I stare into the simulated physics of the plate armor. My longsword becomes an extension of my mouse, which is an extension of my arm. I parry, I thrust, chop, smash, slash. Waves of men fall to my wild flailing, and then I blink awake 2 hours later to find myself staring blankly into the screen, going Patrick Bateman on a guy who's been dead for 15 minutes, and my friends I've been streaming to on Discord are calling the police, and now I am in prison. Oh, did I mention this game has good blood, good gore? I really like blood. I really like a lot of blood and gore and dismemberment. I love it when there's dynamic bruising and broken bone mechanics. I love feeling the soft splitting of pink flesh under a sharpened blade. I really like blood and gore. Demonology. This year I discovered indie developer Chris Every, and I have been entranced ever since. He's a fantastic artist with a very distinct, ridgy, ribby, organic, textured style that reminds me a lot of Giger, Beksinski, or Robert Eggers. Originally made for the 2020 haunted PS1 Halloween Game Jam, but fully remade this year. Demonology follows a 17th century witch hunter in a remote Scottish village during the North Berwick witch trials. You're there to suss out the townfolk's lies from truths and find a witch to hang in 5 days by any means necessary. Beautifully rendered pixel art, historically accurate dialogue, and gorgeous music permeate the entire experience, and in between nights you're haunted by these incredible stop-motion styled prophetic nightmares, which might just aid you on your hunt. They're seriously really fucking cool. I cannot recommend this game hard enough. The only reason this game isn't in my top 10 is because of one minor nitpick. It's too damn short! My first run, including time taken to narrate and take notes for a YouTube video, only took an hour. God damn it! I want more! Make the game again! Death of the Reprobate. The latest point-and-click outing from developer Joe Richardson and the third in a trilogy, Death of the Reprobate is probably the most consistently funny game on the list. It's really fucking funny. It's also very crass. Think the mid-road between Monty Python and 3 AM Discord brain rot. Dry and blunt and absurdist and somehow always leading to boobs or death as a punchline. Every asset in-game is in some way taken from real Renaissance art and beautifully manipulated and animated, leading to some really pretty and silly scenes. Shit, this really is just a quality-ass classic point-and-click adventure with clever puzzles, fun scenarios, and well-written dialogue. What else do you need? Only reason this isn't in the top 10 is because by the end of its admittedly very short and sweet runtime, the humor can become a little grating, and it does sometimes suffer from the infamous point-and-click puzzle logic Pharaoh's curse. But I really do still recommend it, and the other games in the trilogy, because goddammit, it's really funny seeing ye old painting people say fuck sometimes. Web fishing. What if you took the best part of Animal Crossing and turned it into a game for gay furries? Wait a minute. I admire this game for its simplicity. Simple graphics, simple gameplay, chill vibes, and just the right amount of humor and depth. Like, there are percentage increases and world events and deep lore secrets, but the game is so laid back and comfortable in itself that you don't feel like you're missing out if you literally just want to fish. And that's what made it such a unique and effective social platform. I've lost hours and hours with my friends on this tiny little island, just enjoying each other's company. I think that's what makes this game special. It's a fantastic catalyst for conversation and just free-form group fun. I've sent my friends hundreds of cans of beer in a letter. Someone can catch a fish as big as the map. You can compare novelty hats, see who's straight, I fucking love that. And you can even play Weezer. Web fishing is less of a game to be progressed through in one, and more of just a place to be with your friends, or random psychotic furries who want to show you their red herring, either one. Abiotic Factor. Aside from being a great game in its own right, Abiotic Factor was somehow able to do the impossible. Make me actually enjoy a survival crafting game. It's just not my genre usually. Something about browsing through crafting menus and grabbing obscure rare components and hitting a wall for 20 minutes with a rock just to die in one hit to a guy on the other side makes me want to fucking pass away surrounded by my loving family. Abiotic Factor has most of the same slower mechanics, but the way they're presented and made active and fresh by the setting makes it infinitely more appealing to me. And that's this game's greatest strength. The setting. In case it wasn't painfully obvious, this game is just Half-Life. You're in not Black Mesa. There are legally distinct one-to-one copies of most of the enemies. The scientists sound like this.
I believe I need to defecate.
But it takes advantage of this. Since you're playing as a bunch of noodle-armed, shirt-tucking nerds and are mostly stuck in offices and industrial facilities, you don't make the same boring-ass wooden pick, stone pick, iron chest piece. You're taping couch cushions and cafeteria trays to yourself. You're making crossbows with rubber bands and rulers. You're MacGyvering clever inventions out of random scrap. You're shitting into makeshift toilets and fertilizing alien crops with it so you can make a fuck-ass soup that makes you float like fizzy lifting drink. It's all so interesting for once. And that's just the survival part of the game. There are tons of different departments and alien dimensions and pocket universes that you can explore that actually feel unique from each other. It's weird, it's silly, it's self-aware, and it's full of unforeseen consequences. Oh, fuck you.
Stop fucking the microwave.
What was once the ill-fated Bloodborne cart, God rest its soul, fuck you Sony, Lilith Walther's arcade masterpiece finally saw the light of day this year, and has transcended its original source material into its own work. Minus what couldn't be changed entirely or risk completely uprooting years of work. Lamau! At the end of the road, Nightmare Kart turned out to be an incredible kart racer. Smooth, diverse handling across different vehicles and characters, winding maps with amazing flow and gimmicks, fun game modes, cheat codes and secrets, and a spectacular soundtrack by the Noble Demon. The aesthetic is practically flawless. Not just the art style, but the impeccable attention to how the PS1 actually looked. Nobody makes more accurate PS1 style games than Miss Bunlith. Like, holy shit, it is indistinguishable. Look at those vertices jitter, baby. At an exorbitant price of free, and with an expansion on the way, you literally have no excuse to not play this actual modern classic. Truly a Yeeg moment.
Yeeg.
Shut the fuck up, Gian. Buckshot Roulette. I would say the only math-related concept I don't need to smash my skull into a wall and force myself under threat of death to perform well in is keeping track of quantities and judging probabilities. Guess what this game is about? Who the fuck am I kidding? You know what this game is. It was uber popular when it came out, and for good reason. The latest dingy, rusty Slavic nightmare from Mike Indika is quite possibly the most mentally stimulating video game ever made. The uber-dithered, jank-ass PSX visuals may look jank-ass on the surface, but everything under the hood here is polished to a brilliant sheen, drunkenly stumbling into this life-or-death game, numbers and probabilities running through your head while you strategize your turn, all while you stare down the most normal-looking motherfucker this side of Moscow, and the infectious soundtrack of the Outside Club pounds through the walls, drilling into your skull. Dozens of timelines could sprout from your next action. You grab the gun, aim, and... wait, fuck, I lost count. It's genuinely all-encompassing. I've played this game for dozens of hours at this point, and I still get tense whenever I point the shotgun at myself, even if I know for a fact it's a blank. It's that well done. There's such a beautiful, simple absurdity in just one-upping normal pussy-ass Russian roulette from some dinky revolver to a fucking 12-gauge Remington special, and this toothy fuck is sitting there like,
Положите дробовик в рот. Соси эту бочку, сука.
And there's a lot of interesting implications with this game being popular enough to get its own special table and contraptions and waivers and prize pools. Like, this is just something you could tune into on ESPN after work. It's brilliant work all the way down from such a simple idea. This ain't your daddy's Deer Hunter. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I once thought machine games lost. After the Greek tragedy that was Wolfenstein Youngblood, I thought this prestigious studio that made some of my favorite games of all time would be relegated to AAA slopware from now on. So, I'll be honest, I wasn't entirely on board with them making a literal indie game for the longest time. Would killing Nazis even hit the same after what we've been through? Yes, I feel like such an idiot for even entertaining such doubts, because Machine Games still has the sauce. This game fucking rules. My expectations were middling at best, bracing for something on par with fucking Staff of Kings with the PS2. But what I got was the best Indiana Jones story since 1989. I fucking loved the movies as a kid, and seriously appreciate them as an adult. Minus the racist parts of Temple of Doom. And dude, this game is identical in style, tone, humor, batshit insanity, you name it. The amount of reverence Machine Games has for the series oozes out of every pixel. The varied environments are drop-dead gorgeous, damn near photorealistic. The Vatican, Giza, Siam, frozen Nazi warships, they're all just a joy to experience. Just mwah! True to Machine Games' pedigree, punching Nazis feels so damn good, with meaty 80s ass sound effects and an endless supply of random shit to cave their skulls in with. The writing is similarly faithful to the series. One thing Machine Games can never ever miss on is writing the dumbest, dorkiest, high and mighty, goose-steppin' Nazi-ass Nazis and fascists you've ever seen, and by God, it's fun to see them get their comeuppance. The thing that drags this game a bit is it's a AAA game, so it has to follow some tropes, namely giant-ass hub areas with tens of little map icons and busy work and XP and skill upgrades and ugh. But that's barely an issue in comparison to literally everything else. One last thing, I have to glaze Troy Baker for his performance as Indy. Initially, I rolled my eyes since he's one of 2 voice actors ever, but holy shit, he whips out a perfect one-to-one Harrison Ford impression like it's nothing. It's simply spectacular. All in all, this is a fantastic pulp adventure that stands shoulder to shoulder with the original films. What can I say? Indy is the best to ever do it. Rest in peace, Tony Todd. Helldivers 2, motherfucker. This is easily my most played game of the year. Helldivers exploded onto the scene early this year to massive positive buzz. I personally saw a couple videos of the absolute psychotic shit happening on Malevelon Creek at the time, and I just immediately knew I needed this in my life. Fuck me, this game is fun. The raw dopamine response shooting stuff gives me it's intoxicating. I love how heavy things feel. If you whip your camera around, your aim has to catch up with your reticle, depending on the weight of your gun. You can feel the heft in your movements. Throwing yourself into the dirt looks like it hurts like a motherfucker. It reminds me a lot of Max Payne 3, just without all the pinpoint John Woo gunfight bullshit. Nah, Helldivers feels like a dirty, bare-knuckle brawl. You get soaked in bug guts, bot oil, and squid ink after just a few minutes. Your glorious cape gets ripped and burned. You break your damn arms and legs on the drop of a hat. Combat is messy and bloody and raw. Helldivers is dedicated to making every single firefight feel like the finale of an action movie. The unique stratagem mechanic lets every player call down gun emplacements, bombs, jetpacks, bombs, mines, bombs, massive orbital bombardments that blot out the sky, and the almighty 500-kilogram bomb. It's all seamless, interactive with the environment, and will forever be satisfying. I grew up in the time of Halo, in Killzone, in Gears of War, and all their ilk, so I've had a deep appreciation for early 2000s sci-fi aesthetics for as long as I can remember. Helldivers has this shit in spades. Just look at some of this armor, dude. Fuck. And that's before getting into the brilliantly stupid and clever writing tone. This game, it's just Paul Verhoeven's Starship Troopers through and through. I mean, come on. Super Earth is a blatant, hyper-militarist, hyper-nationalist, warmongering Big Brother society with rigged shadow elections. They control your reproduction and monitor your every move and send 18-year-old kids to their immediate deaths in the name of oil and stopping the spread of cursed robotic socialism. It's not hard to see what the game is saying, and that's fine. Not every political message needs to be written in sad Russian novels you read in AP Lit, but I love it! I mean, come on. Turning your brain off can be fun, but engaging in the obvious satire just makes the game better. It just makes the game better. It's silly, it's campy, it's funny as hell. I've followed this game through thick and thin so far, but with this whole Sony debacle and the poor balancing and the 60-day project sadly making dents in the once seemingly unanimous player base. But dude, I'm telling you, with the Illuminate update, with the ever-improving balancing, with the incredible art style and humor and unpredictable sandbox bullshit and seriously dedicated hardcore fan base with its own separate lore and separate divisions and commanders and outfits, this game has a seriously bright future, and I for one am in for the long haul. The Helldiver Core made me the man I am today. Swing liberty! Shadow of the... Oh, shut up. If Jeff Keighley can bend the rules here, so can I. Shadow of the Erdtree is just fucking beautiful, dude. You could be reductive and boil it down to just more Elden Ring, but like, that's a good thing. Elden Ring is one of the best games ever made, and Shadow of the Erdtree just continues its legacy. From Software always saves the best and hardest for their expansions, and this is no different. The world is so packed with interesting landmarks, small little ruins, complex dungeons, and some of the most stunning vistas and environment design I have ever seen. The amount of work that must have gone on to craft this much beauty per square mile is mind-blowing. The new lore uncovered here is, as always, mystifying. From's signature style of storytelling is running on all cylinders here. The intricate web of royal families, risen and fallen civilizations, unknowable gods, and the thralls and monsters they create is just... God, it's everything, dude. Shocker, the many bosses and their interesting mechanics combined with the ever-famous difficulty kick your ass into the pavement over and over again. But there's a fantastic new supply of weapons and spells and ashes of war you can utilize to overcome them all, eventually. Including the new deflecting hard tier, which literally just turns the game into Sekiro and single-handedly made me plot out my next 13 playthroughs. Oh my god, this single item completely refreshed the combat and adds so much more depth to how I interact with the game itself. It's fantastic and just should have been in the base game, honestly. I'm finding it hard to say much here because everyone knows how good Elden Ring is. Quality is the norm for From Software games. I think what Shadow of the Erdtree does best, aside from the hauntingly gorgeous artwork and character designs, the spectacular interweaving story, the luscious, utterly phenomenal original score, and the crushing difficulty, is being the golden capstone on top of one of the best games ever made. From Software proves yet again why they deserve their spot as industry royalty. Except you, Radon. Fuck you, I hate you, die!
Servant of God Indika shall now take communion with the body and blood of our Lord and God and Savior Jesus Christ.
This was the moment I knew that Indika was going to be at least an interesting time. What I didn't know was that within the next few hours, Indika would firmly cement its place among my favorite games of the year. You might be asking, how the hell does this messy, gray, video essay-ass game get third place? Well, let me ask you something, devilish voice in my head. How many private letters can you open before you're as sinful as a murderer? If God granted us free will, then why does he demand of us certain behaviors and decorum in order to gain his favor? Is the threat of eternal damnation in hell a justified punishment for wickedness, or an act of malicious coercion meant to force fearful worship masquerading as authentic reverence? Is God even real? While these definitely are not original think pieces in the incredibly diluted field of theological debates, oh god, this is just a sampling of the questions that Indika, a seemingly devout sister of the faith, wrestles with internally throughout this weird game, inspired by the language of art house film and good old Soviet cynicism. That's not unrelated footage, by the way. This is the same game. Trudging through this bleak, absurd world straight out of a Slavic fever dream, Indika and her gangrenous acquaintance Ilya beautifully play off each other in this shared journey, punctuated by incredibly real-feeling human discussions and debates about the nature of faith, which are brilliantly flipped on their head, with Indika, the nun dressed in full habit, being the one who seems to need convincing sometimes. You can tell she's trying to hold on to her belief and keep Ilya's firm at the same time for his own sake. It's a wonderfully performed dynamic. You see, Indika is having a crisis of faith because she hears the voice of the devil in her head. And my god, he is portrayed perfectly. Snarky, patronizing, gleefully confrontational. He is an absolute highlight, especially during these red-shifted segments where he endlessly mocks you and the aggressively unconventional score blares in your ears. best part, like all good antagonists, he makes good points. His screen time is spent pointing out fallacies and contradictions in Indika's beliefs, teasing out unsavory thoughts, leaving little paper cut after paper cut in the poor girl's perception of religion, like real world religion. I'm just gonna get it out of the way. I'm an atheist, always have been, so I genuinely think the reason this game isn't higher, hell, even number 1 on the list, aside from the jank and slightly frustrating controls, is that I don't think I've fully experienced the kind of things all this dialogue is meant to stir up in your brain. Like, I just don't have that personal connection to the structures and beliefs of organized religion outside of non-immediate family members and neighbors to really get that full experience, that full catharsis even. So I feel like sometimes I may just be nodding my head, agreeing with the devil, and enjoying the game when someone of a different disposition may be feeling a little different. This does not, however, detract from the phenomenal game that Indika is, dripping with a sly, foxy intent and excitement about its sensitive subject matter that's rarely seen in media in general, let alone video games. While a lot of things involving religion tend to abstract the subject, create equivalents of real-life groups and doctrines, and sometimes water down their rhetoric proportional to expected backlash, Indika has the fucking balls to directly interact with its mark, and does it while remaining grounded, intimate, and just plain fucking weird. It's a brilliant work of art. One I'll remember for a long, long time. Never thought we'd be here again, in our special place, Silent Hill. I have never been so happy to have been proven so wrong. The original Silent Hill 2 was one of my favorite works of art, just ever. I adore this game like you wouldn't believe. It's been a massive influence on my tastes, on everything that I make. It's not just a genuinely scary horror game, it's a tragedy. It's a beautiful, melancholy meditation on guilt, sex, loneliness, trauma, terminality. To put it bluntly, I'm one of those fans. You know what I mean? And I'll be fully upfront and honest. When this remake was announced and I learned that Bloober Team were the developers, I was genuinely upset. Not only because Silent Hill 2 just didn't really need a remake to begin with, they don't have a good track record with their work. Tropey and shallow, with some very mishandled and harmful writing on sensitive material to boot. And to give them like the horror game, like the horror game, I was very unhappy. But what could I do? Hands were shaken, contracts were signed. The game was coming, whether I liked it or not. But something started to happen. The game started looking better and better whenever it was shown off. I was reading what people were saying about it, and my black pill attitude slowly turned into copium, which slowly turned into hopium. I was feeling such a potent mixture of emotions that I overcame my taboo of putting my voice on the internet just to talk about it, inadvertently launching my whole YouTube channel. And then the game came out to overwhelmingly positive reviews. So I bit the damn bullet and played the game, and I played it a lot. Just over 100 hours as of making this. I played through 10 full playthroughs, gotten every achievement. And what's my final verdict? This is a fantastic adaptation. And that's what it is. It's an adaptation. It's Bloober Team's retelling of the original story, with some hindsighted touch-ups and modern design sensibilities. Let me tell you, just walking around Silent Hill in this game is everything you could ever want. It's gorgeous, every inch of it. The fog is perfect, the new interiors are excellent, it's beautifully realized. Returning puzzles are refreshed, and new puzzles are well thought out and thematically appropriate. I recommend playing this game on hard, both puzzle and combat difficulty, since combat is actually a mechanic now, and you get more healing items than God. The levels, aside from, again, being drop-dead gorgeous, are constructed far better with an innate sense of flow. Shortcuts and condensed layouts minimize backtracking and tedium, keeping you fully in the story for longer amounts of time. A couple levels are even completely different from their original counterparts, like the prison or the labyrinth, and they're done wonderfully. Pyramid Head is fucking horrifying again. He's portrayed perfectly. You have no fucking clue how happy I was when I saw that they didn't fuck up the abstract daddy. This was the thing that I was most worried about the entire time, and God delivered unto us a miracle. Thank God for consultants, because I'm coming around on this extended section more and more every day. The new scene in Heaven's Night is performed perfectly. It's subtle and uncomfortable, and now I'm kind of shocked that something like this wasn't in the original, outside of the inspect text, of course. The music and sound design is utterly sublime and might just be the best thing to come from this remake. Akira Yamaoka is the best audio worker in this industry. His new arrangements of classic songs are jaw-dropping, and his sound design is out of this world. I mean, just listen to this shit! What else can I say? Because the rest of the praise I can give is, it's Silent Hill 2! It's one of the most talked about and dissected games ever. The remake's tone is far more grounded and less communicating through bulletproof glass coated, which comes with its own strengths and weaknesses. I still prefer the original, but it's still a masterpiece. It's not without faults, of course. I particularly don't enjoy that most of the game's otherworld segments, save for the hotel, are modeled off of the traditional rusty brown chain-linked metal look instead of the original's blue, waterlogged, rotten, mildew-ridden imagery. The PC performance to this day can still suck an egg. Oh my god, the stuttering is unreal. The amount of mannequins around seemingly every corner is a serious oversight that defeats their initially horrifying new trick of being ambush predators. And I could talk your fucking ear off about all of the little nitpicks that just don't matter that much in the end. There's no chugging noise in the moth room. Maria doesn't say, "Anyway!" Right. Pyramid Head doesn't finger a guy's ass in the stairwell. It's just little things. All in all, so I can stop myself from talking, the Silent Hill 2 remake is a fantastic retelling of an all-time masterpiece. Is it as good as the original? Fuck no. But if you fall short of perfection, you're still gonna be considered pretty damn great, and that's exactly what this game is. Pretty damn great. Consider this my formal apology to Bloober Team. Here's to Hope Undying. My game of the year couldn't really be anything but mouthwashing, could it? The second that phrase, "I hope this hurts," bleeds onto the screen, it becomes very clear what mouthwashing wants you to do. It's a direct message from the developers to you, the player. A final notice that you're about to endure the particular kind of abject misery that mouthwashing drowns you in throughout its mentally exhausting runtime. And it's a warning that some may need to heed. Mouthwashing is a game about being trapped. Literally in the sense that the game chronicles the fleeting lives of the crew of a stranded space freighter, and figuratively in the sense that every member of the ill-fated group is stuck, living under the boot of an uncaring group of socioeconomic systems and a venomous status quo that enables and creates fatal outcomes like the ones they suffer. And it's all for a shipment of mouthwash. Mouthwash that doesn't even do its fucking job. The eternal digital sunset that blankets the crew lounge is particularly cruel to me. It symbolizes a waning third act stretched far beyond its intended length. A malicious decrescendo that never quite reaches silence. It's the symbol of an end that will seemingly never come, yet inevitable all the same. The frothing corpse of the Tulpar becomes the stage where our characters slowly but completely decay. Their already pitiful amount of useful supplies have run dry. Their minds are rotten and splitting open. There is no hope of rescue. These cold red halls are their own personal hell. They wait miserably for months on end to die among the stars, hungry, drunk, and alone. And the worst part, the thing that needles into my heart every time I think about this game, some of that suffering is utterly deserved. Mouthwashing's greatest strength lies with its immaculately written cast of poor souls. Their pain, their agony, their sickening delusions are masterfully etched into your brain as this nightmare continues. Broad and diverse in their personalities and emotional baggage, every player will be able to connect with at least one of their plights before the game surgically inflicts the most emotional pain possible in order to make its point, that is. For instance, I felt particularly attached to Daisuke, a young man pushed into an engineering internship on the vessel by his parents. He's a bright, naive light among the jadedness that comes with the work experience the others hold, and that makes his decline all the more gut-wrenching for me to watch. Once a spark of optimistic, if aimless youth, Daisuke is eventually reduced to a scared, bright pink lump on the floor, suffering an all too relatable yearning for a purpose and meaning, while dying a meaningless death. He's a candle lit on both ends, mercilessly stamped out by crushing reality. If this isn't a perfect allegory for how a lot of people my age feel right now, I don't know what is. Swansea, the rough blue-collar engineer, is trapped by his self-imposed expectations and past addiction. Once sober from alcohol, the family man returns to a version of himself he tried to forget but always secretly admired. A version unburdened by things that he fought tooth and nail to earn, and that he'll never see again. A life well lived, but one he feels wasted too, in a way. But that's not the takeaway from his genuine humanity. He's a hard ass on the outside, but really he's a caring man deep down. It's a front for the real fatherly sensibilities he holds, especially towards Daisuke. There is no one piece of Mouthwashing's imagery more macabrely iconic than Curly, the past captain. A man trapped within his own ruined body, all but annihilated by the crash he's wrongly blamed for, unable to do anything but scream and bleed, all while being hated, spoken at, and for, like many disabled people are, stewing in the knowledge that he could have helped stop all this from happening if he had just stepped up to someone, for someone. Ironic for a captain. Anya is the type of character that, depending on someone's treatment and takes on her, they may paint your opinion of them as a person. A reserved, caring woman, Anya is driven by her passion to help people. Despite her numerous failed attempts to finish medical school and become a nurse, she still pushes on. She's determined, brave, a little competitive, nothing but lovely to be around. She's also the only woman among a crew of men on a lonely ship with millions of miles between them and Earth. That's already a situation that many women can relate to and feel unease over, but it's taken to a whole new depth of cruelty when Anya is all but explicitly said to be sexually assaulted by Jimmy, the last remaining crew member, and must remain on board with him for the rest of her life. Oh, Jimmy. I have never grown to hate a fictional character more than this fucking worm. He's a toxic, short-fused, spiteful, manipulative shell of a man. After claiming the role of acting captain, Jimmy deludes himself into believing he can somehow fix this whole situation, framing it to favor him and paint himself as a tragic hero to the people he just tried to murder. His sickening machismo-drenched savior complex doesn't even have a cathartic ending, since he commits self-righteous suicide off-screen right after he believes he saves the day, despite only prolonging the suffering of the only person who can communicate what happened on board. This game won't even let you have that. Fuck me. Mouthwashing is, as you should probably guess by now, unafraid to not only depict some of the most horrific shit humans are capable of, but at times go the extra mile and make you directly interact with it. For all the praise this game gets, far too many people don't bring enough attention to the stellar depiction of toxic downplaying and enablement Curly grants his friend Jimmy after his disgusting crime. It's sobering to see this kind of writing in a video game, and shows that no matter how good his intentions are, Curly is no fucking hero. Obviously, this doesn't mean he deserved to be completely brutalized like this, far from it. But that through line from keeping the status quo and protecting an offending friend to the horrific deaths and manglings of everyone on the Tulpar is a fascinating microcosm of life right now. Every additional time I've played through this game, there's been a new detail or line of dialogue that breaks my fucking heart all over again. Mouthwashing is so dead set on hurting you, it sets traps that only spring when you're exposed to its teeth twice. I could go at far greater length than I already have discussing and dissecting this staggering achievement in independent narrative, but I want to leave it where I have. Mouthwashing is the kind of generational release that is revered far after its contemporary influence may pass. Brilliant writing, striking visuals, beautifully scored, and damn salient. It's the kind of thing that only those with true passion for their art can create. If this is somehow the last we see of Wrong Organ, then the world has seen off one of its best. But rest assured, your mission statement holds true. For if there's one thing your game does, it fucking hurts. Whoa, hey everyone. It's me, editing JDam. I just got done finishing the whole list, and wow. I know towards the end there, the mouthwashing segment really just went into like a mouthwashing explained kind of thing, but like, as I was writing it, I realized that mouthwashing is a very hard game to sell to people. Like, oh wow, check out this cool sci-fi thing. It's very horrible and a lot of upsetting things happen. It sounds great, right? No. I'm sorry it took me like a really long time to make this. The beginning of this year has been a little fucking crazy, but it's here now. It's out now. You're watching it on youtube.com, and this marks my triumphant return after a little bit of a break and crunch-induced nightmare time. But no, first real video of 2025 out of the way, out with the old and with the new, and I'm excited with what I'm going to be doing. Videos are going to be coming out a lot quicker now. I'm just excited. I can't really say anything past that. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you like my taste in video games. I hope you didn't cringe your ass off with me going all flowery and poetic over a few things, but whatever, who cares? It's my video, not yours. Shut up. Like and subscribe. If you like this video, I would really appreciate you if you just at least consider liking and commenting and all that bullshit. I hate doing the YouTube thing at the end of videos, but hey, you gotta make a living somehow. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and here's to 2025. Here's to oh fuck, I have to buy a PS5 for GTA, don't I? Fuck!